when we think silly season can't get crazier, it just does. And this is weird as an NHRA fan because we don't have crazy silly seasons that much. This is like the first time in like years from what I remember that the silly season's been this nuts. But welcome back to Drag Racing Central. We got more news because NHRA off season has always been news. It's not even all season, it's winter break at this point with the way drivers and sponsors are out there finding partnerships and all that. So let's get right into it. AB Motorsports signs Lucas Oil for their 2022 campaign along with Matco Tools. And according to Antron Brown, a lot of other partners that they didn't announce. This is great. I hope we get to see the Richie Crampton Lucas Oil paint scheme back out on the track because I really like that paint scheme from back in like my childhood. So I hope it comes back. Will it though? I don't know. It's probably going to be like a weird combination between Lucas Oil and Mac Tools, or Matco Tools. It's not Mac Tools. So I don't really know what's going to happen with that. They didn't really say how many races they were signed for or if they were going to even be a primary sponsor, but that's just my assumption. I can come back to this you could come back to this and say I'm wrong like 5 months later, but that's news from AB Motorsports. Happy to see teams getting sponsors. That's great because people say the sport's dead. Not dead. We're getting sponsors. Now for probably the second biggest news of the week, Justin Ashley Racing or Davis Motorsports and AB Motorsports form a technical alliance to share technical data between teams. This, I don't know why we haven't done this before because NASCAR, IndyCar, F1, they've been doing this for like years and years and years. Why are we just finally getting onto this? That we should not be this late to the party, but I guess we are in this sense. But yeah, that's all. That's kind of my opinion on it. It's like, hallelujah, we finally figured out that actually does something. But I mean, there's other sort of, if you want to call it, alliances happen before. Because I know the Torrance team gives out a lot of their older parts to smaller teams. So if you want to call that an alliance, you can. But I don't call it an alliance because they're not really sharing technical data with each other. So that means Justin Ashley is now essentially a Toyota driver because he's going to have all the information that Antron gets, and Antron's a Toyota factory driver. So he's going to get all the information that Antron gets, and that's great for the class. It's going to bring more competition, and the entire reason this is probably honestly happening is to stop the Capco boys because that's how everyone's mission. They're all out there to stop Torrance. He's got like a massive target on his back. And the fact that he still manages to dominate with that target on his back is pretty incredible. So that's great news. Great news. Although it's questionable that we found out we were doing this stuff. We're this late to the game on team alliances. But now time for the biggest news. And this was announced at PRI on Friday. Ron Capps Motorsports has been announced. So there will be a Ron Capps Racing next year, of course, with Ron Capps being what looks like the main driver. I don't think they announced any other cars, although the Ron Capps team, will be going over that. So Guido, Dean Antonelli will be crew chief on the car. So that is great news, and that is the championship team because I feel like some people forget that is the championship team that's going away from Don Schumacher Racing. And they're essentially going away from the team that just won a championship and going off on their own. And I think that's great because I don't really. I mean, even though I grew up in the era of the super teams, the super teams have kind of turned nitro racing to, like, I don't want to call it a dull state, but like a period where nothing really happened because there wasn't, like, you're not getting this silly season we have now with super teams in place. It just wouldn't happen. So it's kind of made the silly season more interesting, and it's going to make the actual season way more interesting because you don't just have like 7 Don Schumacher racing cars on the property winning everything. So you can give more teams a chance at spotlight, spread sponsorship around the pits. Don't just have one team hog all the sponsorship and have everyone else get nothing. So that's also good. And also, I feel like a lot of this stems from just like drivers wanting to do what they want to do. Like I guess they don't really want to listen to a higher up and just do what they want to do. So that's great for the drivers, great for the sport as a whole. So everyone should be welcoming that. There's no reason why we shouldn't be welcoming that. And as for manufacturer, I do believe he is staying with Dodge. There was no announcement that I know of, keyword that I know of. So if I'm incorrect on that, you can comment below and tell me I was incorrect on that. But I believe he's staying with Dodge, although don't be surprised if he goes to Toyota. And all the Toyota crybabies, they like to cry about Toyota. Get used to it because they're going to be coming in here more and more and more. And honestly, I'm welcome to it because it's no EM putting money into our sport. And for all the people out there that say that it's not even, they're all powered by Hemis, I don't think the 1970s Sony cars had like, or whatever their street versions were. I don't think they had nitro motors in their street car version, so that kind of puts that to rest. But Ron Capps Motorsports, that will be debuting next year. There was no announcement on a second car, although I will not be surprised if there is a second car. I do not think that will happen, but I will not be surprised because you can't honestly take anything for granted this silly season because it's been just absolutely crazy. There's no understatement for it. Been absolutely crazy, and I'm looking forward to it. There's probably way more announcements to come. Still nothing on Austin Prock, if he's getting a seat or not. So that could be a potential announcement coming out soon. Still no announcements on some of the partnerships that Schumacher may or may not have. We know he's backed by the Maynard family, but we don't know any other partners because I did hear him say on a podcast that he does have more partners lined up for that team. So we don't know. It's the great part of silly season. We have no idea what's going to be coming across in the future of NHRA. The future's bright. I don't want to hear NHRA's dead. It's not dead. It's alive and well, and it's only going to get better with the coming years. So that's going to be it for me. Let me know what you think in the comments. You care, you don't care, whatever. Let us know what you think in the comments. Also, give us a follow on Twitter, Drag Racing Central, at Drag Racing CNT on Twitter, because we put out a lot of good stuff on Twitter as well. Put a lot of polls out for people to. It's about engaging the fan base. You know, we got to engage our fan base. What we have of us, we have to engage our fan base and maybe potentially bring in some new fans who may never have heard the idea of NHRA drag racing. So that's going to be it from me. We'll see y'all, I guess, whenever there's news. And that's it for me.